Hi guys, I am Jasmine and welcome back to Jasmine's Hot Look. So, before we start this video, it has been a while. I haven't filmed video really since the beginning of May. Yeah, the beginning of May when I did my Medieval-a-thon TBR. I did complete Medieval-a-thon, so we're going to be actually talking about that today. But before we start, let me tell you guys where I've been. So if you guys watched my first video, I had 2 jobs and I was going to school full-time when I started this channel. So school has ended and then coronavirus happened and my part-time job was like, actually don't come in, and my full-time job was like, we're only coming in every other week. So I was like, cool. So the weeks that I'm off, you know, I can film a video and it be somewhat consistent, like a video every other week, or maybe a video every week and I just film 2 videos, whatever. Well, the week after I started this YouTube channel, my part-time job was like, actually no, come in. So on the weeks that I was not at my full-time job, I was at my part-time job and I was like working full days and it was a lot. So things didn't really go the way it's supposed to be, the way I planned it to be actually. Then on top of that, is this blurry? Are we blurry? You can see the bags under my eyes. It's been rough. So then on top of that, my mental health has been in shambles the last month, 2 months. Because it's almost July. Yeah, the last 2 months. I don't know if it's because coronavirus or what's going on, but we weren't having a good time over here. Yeah. On top of that, I've been discovering a bunch of things about myself. One of them is that I am demisexual. So, yeah. I first learned about demisexuality about 2 years ago. But I kind of went back and forth because I was like, that's not really how, you know, this works. Like, you don't just read a definition and be like, that's what I am. But that's exactly what it was. And I fit the description to a T. So, yeah. So, I guess I'm a hetero-romantic demisexual. So that's great, I guess. I mean, it's not a big deal for me. But I don't know if other people would understand. I feel like this is blurry. If it's blurry, I'm sorry. Look at these bags. Oh my god. Yeah. That, and then a bunch of other things were going on. I was trying to find an internship that was stressing me out. I put in applications to like 22 different places and only one of them responded to me. And come to find out that like 3 of the places that I put were all partnered with the one person that actually responded to me. So I'm like, why didn't you respond to my email the first time? So that's a whole thing. But I found an internship and I start in August or September. I'm working that out with my fieldwork advisor because I'm not starting my fieldwork in September. And we're getting out of school early. So, but yeah. Because of all that, I have a very late May Medieval-a-thon wrap up and just month of May wrap up. So I'm gonna pull up everything that I need to pull up. And yeah, it's been a weird couple of months. Yeah, so for Medieval-a-thon I did complete all 7 prompts. So I did reach the Empress status, Emperor status, which was if you read 7 books. So, yay. This is my notebook that I wrote everything on. It's falling apart. Ignore it. So we're gonna get into it. So like I said, I did read 7 books, and I am going to give you the prompts. So I'm just gonna start. So the first book I read was, or the first prompt was to start or finish a duology, and for that I chose Six of Crows. So this was actually my first time reading Six of Crows and it absolutely deserves all the hype it gets. I love this book. I gave it 5 stars and you know, most of the time, some hype books on booktube I wasn't really a fan of. The Night Circus, Strange the Dreamer. But this book deserves the hype. I really enjoyed all of the characters, and that rarely happens for me in a book. In books, I don't typically enjoy all of the characters, but I enjoyed all of them. The main characters, at least. My favorite being Kaz and Inej, because I like the tortured soul for Kaz. Like, it was so great. This is Upside Down. Great. Love that for me. Yeah, Six of Crows. Phenomenal. And then, so, after I read Six of Crows, I filled the prompt that says, a book that begins with a C. And for that, I just finished it up and I read Crooked Kingdom, which was also absolutely amazing. I gave both of these, I gave them both 5 stars. Yeah, I gave them both 5 stars. This was a lot better than the Grisha trilogy. Now, I did enjoy the Grisha trilogy. Was it my favorite? No, but I did enjoy it, and I read all 3 books. The first and I think the last book, the first book was my favorite. The last book was my second favorite, and the middle book in the Grisha trilogy, it was annoying. But yeah, her writing, I feel like, has really improved in these books, and I don't know if it's just a change in my mind or, you know, what was going on, but there's definitely been an improvement in her writing in these 2 books, and I enjoyed it. The characters were tolerable, which was an issue that I had with the Grisha trilogy. A lot of the characters were intolerable. That's just how I felt. So yeah, I love these books. The next book I read filled the prompt, a pristine book. And a pristine book is like a book with no marks or writing or tears or anything on it. And I read Nocturne by Maya Matane for this book. I gave this book 3 stars. It was good, but it went in a direction that I wasn't expecting. For the whole storyline with Finn's foster father or whatever he's supposed to be. So that kind of took me off guard, and I don't know if I liked it. But other than that, I really enjoyed these characters as well. Alfie, I loved Alfie, and this book is very, like, I don't know if it was the book or just me, but when I was reading, and you know how, like, you imagine the setting in your head, my imagination was very, like, vivid, and I just pictured, like, these old, like, clay buildings, and with, you know, with all this red and orange, and the setting in my mind was absolutely beautiful. And yeah, so, but yeah, I gave it 3 stars. There was a lot of things in this book that were kind of left, like, but there is a second book, so I think I'm going to pick that up just to see if it answers a lot of the questions that I had leading into this book. I didn't describe what this book is about. This book is about Alfie and Finn, who Alfie has come back home from being away because his older brother, which was next in line to be the king and he was the prince, he vanishes. He disappears because of some certain circumstances, and Alfie has come back home to basically take his place. And he's not having a good time. He doesn't want to be there because he doesn't want to run the country, but he's willing to because his brother disappeared. So, and then he meets Finn because he's trying to get a hold of this book that has all of this, like, old magic in it, or that teaches him how to use old magic so that he can try to get his brother out of this pit, this black hole that he fell into. So yeah, and then him and Finn go on an adventure, and it leads into there. So yeah, this book was okay. I mean, I didn't hate it, but I definitely think I'm going to read Occulta just to figure out what's going on with this book. If I don't like Occulta, I don't think I'm going to pick up the next book, because I think there's going to be 3 books in this series. So yeah. The next prompt that I filled was a shiny book, and for that I chose The Wren Hunt by Mary Watson. I loved this book, and it is one of the best books I read this year. I've been having a rough reading year, so this is one of the best books I've read this year. I loved it. I wasn't expecting to like it this much because on Goodreads it had a 3.63 rating, and you guys know how Goodreads is. If it's under like a 3.9, 3.8, you know, it's like going with caution. But I decided to take a chance on it anyway, and I really liked it. I really liked it. I gave it 5 stars. I don't even know how to describe this book to you guys. I'll try. This book is about these 2 groups of magic, and there's this girl named Wren, and every year they do this thing called a Wren Hunt, which is basically practicing for... I don't really know what it's practicing for. I don't know how to describe it, but they do this thing called the Wren Hunt, and it's when one group of... There's 2 different groups of magicians, kind of, or... Yeah, but one group like kind of runs everything, and the other group is slowly being like hunted out by the group that runs everything. So basically they were like, so the group that Wren is a part of, their magic is slowly depleting, and they decide to infiltrate the other magic group that's running everything's, you know, headquarters or whatever, to try to get magic back to their clan. So Wren goes in there under disguise. Pretty much they think that she's one of them, and she's not. She's part of this other group. Well, towards the end, you know, she finds out that things aren't what they seem, and it makes her reevaluate a bunch of things, and it makes her realize that the group that's running everything really isn't that bad. So that was a horrible description, but that's all I got. But I loved it. I've never read a book like this before. It was very different in terms of like the magic system and what was going on in this book. Yeah, so I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. It's one of those things where you read and you're like, how did Goodreads not like this? But whatever. The next book I read was A Book with Your Favorite Color on the Spine. And for that, I decided to do a reread, and I went with Hush Hush by Becca Fitzpatrick. I've read this twice before. I read it the first year it came out, and then I read it like 2013, 2014-ish. And I decided to read it again because I've never actually read the rest of the series. I've only ever read this first book. So I reread Hush Hush. I loved it, you know. But, you know, I realized a lot of things in this book that I really didn't like before. You know, they have, I realized a bunch of things in this book that I didn't realize the first 2 times I read it. And one of it was, there's slut shaming, there's eating disorder, they're constantly calling the one girl Marcy anorexic, and, you know, there's fat shaming. There's just a lot of things going on in this book that I didn't realize, but, like, it was subtle, but it still kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So this used to be a 5-star book for me. I knocked it down to 4. Yeah. So if you guys don't know the story about Hush Hush, it is about Nora who meets Patch, and she gets really attached to Patch, and but she knows something's weird about him. Patch is actually a fallen angel, and he wants to take over her body, or he wants to kill her so that he can take over the body of his vessel and be in this body forever, because this is not his body that he's in. So yeah, that's pretty much, I mean, I'm sorry if I spoiled that for you, but I mean, I feel like everybody's read Hush Hush at this point. So yeah, so after that I decided to fill the prompt a romance, and that is when I decided to go with Crescendo by Becca Fitzpatrick, which is the 2nd book in the 4-book series. Yeah, so Crescendo is just basically picking up where the first book left off. Patch and Nora, they save the day, and I gave this book 3 stars. Every book after the first book just got really, really annoying. Yeah, every book after the first book got really annoying. Nora annoys me a lot. Which, you know what? I did try to read this book the second time I read Hush Hush, and I didn't get through the first 2 chapters because she annoyed me then. So I like forced myself to read the rest of this book, and she still annoyed me. She spent the whole time worrying about Marcy and Patch's relationship with Marcy, and Patch is telling her, like, I can't really tell you what's going on right now, but it's not what you think is going on. And she just like has no trust in Patch, and I don't know why, because Patch literally will do anything for this girl, and I don't understand what the issue was. So yeah, this, I can't even tell you what this is about. All the books after the first book start to run together. Oh, this is the book where Scott comes in. So Scott is an old family friend who comes back into town, and there's just something weird about Scott too. This is also the book where Nora finds out that she is a Nephilim. Or did she find that out in the first book? I don't know. It's really explored more in here in the second book. So, I don't know. I only gave it 3 stars because she annoyed me so bad. And I was tired of listening to Nora's point of view. And yeah. The next book that I read, Filled the Prompt, a book under 300 pages. And I don't have it with me right now because I do not know where it went. It might be in my car. But literally, I read it and I saw it every day. And then the time it came for me to make this video, it disappears. I don't know what it was, so I'm just going to talk about it. So the book that I read under 300 pages, and the last book to fill the Medievalathon prompt, was Nimona by Noelle Stevenson, which is a graphic novel. Really cute. Nimona is pretty much about a girl who is like an apprentice to this villain, and you come to realize that the villain isn't really all that bad of a person. It just wants to bring to light some things that is not right in the whole superhero villain system. So I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed Nimona's character. I really enjoyed Lord Blackheart's, which is the villain, and Nimona's character and their relationship together. I thought it was super cute. But Nimona specifically, she's so funny. Like, I don't know, she's just hysterical. I really love that. Yeah, so that was the end of my Medievalathon TBR. So I read one more book that wasn't in my Medievalathon TBR, and that book was Silence by Becca Fitzpatrick, which is the 3rd book in the series. I gave this book 3 stars as well. In this book, Nora wakes up in a cemetery. She finds out that the guy that she thought was her father is not really her father. She wakes up with no memories of the last, like, what was it, like 6 months or 4 months or something? I don't know. She's been gone for a long time. She's been missing, and she pops up in the cemetery. The guy who is her biological father, he is not a good person, and he manipulates her mother into thinking that he is, and he's spending a lot of time at their house so he can kind of keep an eye on Nora and make sure that she doesn't step out of line or remembers everything that he forced her to forget. And you know, Patch is acting weird. She vaguely remembers Patch. She's like, I don't know, her best friend. You know, everybody's hiding stuff from her because they don't want her to freak out, and they don't want her to remember certain events that happened in the past, and so she can like start over her life, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Now in this book, Nora has a right to be kind of annoying, because I'd be annoyed too if I lost all of my memory and nobody was telling me what was going on. So yeah. We see a lot more of Scott in this book. I love Scott. Love Scott. And I love Patch. Yeah, there was just a lot going on in here. And then I started the last book, which is Finale. Also gave it 3 stars, and but I didn't finish it until June, the beginning of June. So, but Finale, I'm going to talk about that. Finale, which is the last book in the series by Becca Fitzpatrick, was unnecessary. I gave it 3 stars, but like the lower end of 3 stars. Yeah, It was unnecessary. I didn't think that we really needed it. So that's everything. This is my May wrap up, my very, very late May wrap up. We're almost done June. We have a couple days left of June. It's the 29th. But I figured I might as well knock this video out. So thank you for being here with me today. I'm going to try to get back on like a regular schedule. We'll see what's going on. Before I really end this video, I wanted to remind you guys that Black lives still matter. Black trans lives matter. LGBTQ plus rights matter. Arrest the cops who killed Breonna Taylor. Arrest the cops who killed Elijah McClain. And wear your mask. Wear your mask. This is the end of my video. So I guess I'll see you guys next time. I don't know when this next video is going to come out. I don't. Yeah. Hopefully I won't look like a garden gnome either next time. So, because I look rough. I got these bags under my eyes. Hopefully next time I can get my life together. So, but thank you for watching my video. Thank you for coming here to my channel. Thank you for supporting me. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.